It's where we leaders who represent, like all of them gone silent, silent, silent.
The third world is not poor. You don't go to poor countries to make money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Only the people are poor. When people didn't have enough to eat, when people were driven to the edge of desperation, there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the bauxite. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped. They're overexploited. They're overexploited. They're overexploited.
A very good evening and welcome to the Lall show where we tell it like it is. My name is Shikema Day, a reporter here at Kaieteur News, and I will be moderating tonight's show. Now, the Lall show is live broadcasted 3 times a week. That's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And it is where we discuss all things our leaders don't want us to know. Now, for years, Kaieteur News, Guyana's best-selling daily newspaper, has been exposing the mismanagement, corruption, and, I dare say, disrespect for Guyana's prime resources. We all know it may be often overwhelming and difficult to understand what the journalists of Kaieteur News write in our daily news articles. So this is where Mr. Lall, as well as the panel, joins to discuss these topics in simple layman's terms so that you, our viewers and listeners, can fully understand what is going on in our country. Here with me tonight is the man of the hour, Mr. Lall, the publisher of Kaieteur News. But before I hand you over to Mr. Lall, let me just remind you, our loyal listeners and viewers, as well as the ones who've just joined us, that you can call us on 226-7453 or WhatsApp us or send us a text message on 622-222 with your questions and your comments. And for those on the web, you can visit the Kaieteur Radio Facebook page where this program is being live streamed. You're also free to shoot us a comment or question for tonight's show. Now over to Mr. Lall. Give us your opening remarks and an idea of what our listeners can expect to hear from you this evening.
Thank you, Shikema. You give a beautiful opening speech. I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
just want to begin by saying a very good night to all Guyana. Wherever you're listening to us, do enjoy this program. I was abandoned again by my colleague Kiana.
You were not.
But I have a colleague with me here that will back me up. Tonight, I will be saying some nice things that you will not get angry or upset. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy every bit of it. And please smile. There are some very nice things I am about to tell you. But before I begin tonight's program, I love quotes. And I always love to begin my program with a quote. And I'm going to tell you a quote from a very great man, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Gandhi says, relationships are based on 4 principles: respect, understanding, acceptance, and appreciation. Let me ask any of you out there, those words match anything between Guyana, ExxonMobil, and our oil companies? I'm not hearing you, Shikema.
I heard you.
Does anything match there?
Yes, sir.
Good. So I begin tonight's program in which I want to let you know and tell you very clear that renegotiation of our oil contracts is a must. It's not maybe. It is not perhaps. It is not up for discussion or debate. It is not when our leaders feel or how they think. It's a must. We all should and must demand it. It is not when the oil companies are ready or in some charitable mood. This is our birthright, Guyana. Our present and our children's future depends on it. This is a must, and not just now. I am talking about now. Now. Please, I beg you, don't sit back and allow them to steal your wealth. No. Guys, it's too much going on here that you have to know. Too much to lose out on. And the politicians saying not a single word. Sometimes I ask my staff, if them believe our politicians fall in a coma, all you hear they're speaking about is frivolous things, Guyana. Some of the things they big up about oil companies, it makes you want to laugh. In some cases, they're saying these oil companies, when I read the newspapers, I believe they're saying, look at these morons. Look at these morons. And smiling away all the way to their banks overseas. I'll give you an example. Today's paper says ExxonMobil pumped 2.7 billion Guyana dollar into the economy in the last 5 years and had no proof to give us. I had to laugh, Guyana, when I read that crap. Any idiot can say they spend money here just to make you feel good, that they are spending money in your country. And this is the type of news they are giving us. They are giving you. They believe we are junkies. Mr. President, we are not junkies. We are smart people. The next thing you read is U.S. investors show interest in corn and soya beans cultivation. You really think for a moment, Guyana, them want to cultivate beans in Guyana? No, they don't want to cultivate nothing here. It's your prime land they want for free. And when them get it, they will turn around and sell it and walk away with billions. Remember AGM, Aurora Gold Mine, the Canadian company, Shikema?
Yes, I do.
The politicians were so proud to tell Guyana how them come here for explore for we gold. The next thing you know, the people find gold, sell out the place, walk away with 323 million US dollar, and what we are left with? You know what we are left with?
Nothing.
We are left with nothing, Guyana. And all the duty-free galore that they were granted, they hand the same thing over to the Chinese company that took over our prime gold land. What are we getting there? Nothing. Nothing. You want a truck, you better find the money, find the millions to pay. But guess what, Shikema? Guess what, brothers and sisters? Them can bring in trucks by the hundreds, duty-free and tax-free, and all the concessions that come in the tax books. You see what is happening here, brothers and sisters? I was very much surprised today to hear our friend Comrade Ramjatan find back his voice. For the longest while, I thought cat the bitey tongue. He was very loud in the papers yesterday and today. Guess what he was talking about? Fish license. A fish license that was granted to a local man. He said how he done right the minister to explain the granting of this fish license. And that how he already put that on the front burner to have it sorted out in Parliament. You hear this crap? You hear this nonsense, Guyana? What he should have done, instead of talking about a fish license, he should have first talk how many licenses were granted out there and to whom. Listen this, Mr. Ramjatan. Just over 80 licenses, fish licenses out there, and only 7 people or 7 companies own them. Out of that 7 companies, 6 out of that 7 are Guyanese, and 1 is a foreigner. But guess what, Guyana? Guess what, Mr. Ramjatan? Out of those 80 licenses granted, the 1 foreigner owns almost 30 of that 80 licenses. What are we getting from that foreign company, Mr. Ramjatan? Check it out. That is what you should have been talking about. Not a single fishing license to one of our brothers or sisters. Talk about the industry in its whole and see what they're doing with the small fishes. I sat last night with one of my friends in the trawler business, and the things he explained to me is very worrying, Guyana. He said, in a few years' time, we will have to import fish. You hear that, Mr. Ramjatan? He said, go to the wharves yourself and see what they're catching so you can understand them speak. My friend says, Glenn, last year the catch went down by 20%. He said this year it went down 40%. The man said he doesn't know if and what they're doing out there with the oil that is causing the drop in the fish business. But he knows something is very, very well wrong. We may very well be importing fish come next year or the year after. That is what Mr. Ramjatan should be talking about in Parliament. Guyana, not about who get fishing license. What he should have been talking about, he is not. The nation wants to hear about them, the oil blocks, giveaway by his party people, the PPP and the PNC. That's what people want to hear about. Remember the AGM deal, Mr. Ramjatan, which a Canadian walk away with the 323 million and hand us a scavenger? That is what they want you to speak about. And all the oil contracts. He should be talking about the bauxite companies, what we getting from them. He should have been talking about Baishan and the clearing up of our forests. What we getting? he should prepare himself to take these matters to the National Assembly. Not a fishing license, Mr. Ramjatan. A fishing license granted to Guyanese? Come on. Something is wrong with your brain. Maybe you guys need to go see a doctor. Had it gone to a foreigner, Shikema,
Yes, sir.
maybe you wouldn't have heard a word from Mr. Ramjatan.
Mm-hmm.
You see where these people interest lies?
Mm-hmm.
Wake up, Guyana. Watch them. Listen to them. And he have the audacity and the nerve to tell us he going after a brother or a sister for a fishing license. Come on. You can do better than that. You can do better than that, Mr. Ramjatan. These are the type of things and stories our leaders proud to tell us. Fishing license. And nothing what's going on out there about our natural resources, our gold, our timber, our bauxite, our oil, and so on. Y'all better check and see if they suddenly get dumb, or if them secretly collecting stuff that we don't know about Guyana. Hear what another newspaper talking about yesterday on the front page. More than 50% David Granger bus is not working. You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
And they say, another headline says, rains flood out communities and NDC trying to remedy it. I want to laugh when I read these things on coming out as news from newspapers on their front pages. Year go, year come, and same flooding all over. What our leaders don't understand, Guyana, is if we don't get oil money to correct these situations, all the communities right across this land will continue to flood out for many, many more generations to come. Now let's turn to the oil. We talked about the giveaway of the Kaieteur, the Kanji, and now we learn that Oranduk oil blocks added to the free list. The free list, Guyana, freeness, in which the owners now milking hundreds of millions of US dollars, and Guyana is left to suck salt. Nothing coming our way. My colleague Kiana said something Monday night about 9 billion barrels of oil. Let me explain that, because I've chatted with a few guys and they don't understand it fully.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to take this opportunity to explain that to you, Guyana. 9 billion barrel of equivalent oil that Exxon declared they found in part of the Stabroek Block is just the tip. It's just the tip of the iceberg. It's only 3 little well they bore there. Lisa 1, Lisa 2, Lisa 3, which is Payara. The only 3 well they bore in the whole of Stabroek Block. One tiny little piece. And they're telling us they discovered 9 billion. Well, I want to tell you guys, I don't believe they find 9 billion there. I more believe that they find 900 billion barrel there. But they're not telling us the truth. And that is just a little piece. We ain't talking about this almost another 20 holes they will be drilling in the Stabroek Block alone that have how many 100 billions of barrels more to come. And that ain't touch, Shikema,
Yes, sir.
Guyana,
Mm-hmm.
brothers and sisters, we ain't touch Kaieteur yet, we ain't touch Kanji, we ain't touch Oranduk Block, We ain't touch Berbice block. We ain't touch Demerara block. We ain't touch none of the other blocks. You understand the kind of richness we have out there, Guyanese? We are filthy rich. We are so rich that the whole world is talking about us. One World Bank report says Guyana is one of the fastest growing economy in the world. Is where there, Mr. Ramjatan?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Granger, where is the fastest growing economy? Where is it? Where is it, Mr. Jagdev? Them say we set for growth 14 times more than China. Where are they? You're still begging for loan? Today, we begging IDB authorize another loan for us to fight COVID. We don't take 30 and they're giving us another 20 million US to fight COVID. Is sure loans coming your way? Is sure loans coming your way? Guyana, you need to understand that. So you better prepare for cut cane and plant rice for the rest of your life in the sun that will beat your backs or our backs like slaves all over again. Believe me, Guyana, if we don't change those one-sided deals, these lopsided contracts, so that we can benefit some cash and real cash too. Trust me, Guyana, brothers and sisters, Kaieteur waits your dinner and you will go to bed hungry. So please, please demand a renegotiation of all the oil contracts. Guyana, demand that your leaders take all those good-for-nothing contracts to Parliament so that they can get them fixed. Not, I repeat, not a fishing license to one of our brothers or sisters. Fix them and get it right so that all Guyana can get a fair share of their own wealth. Not the oil company. It doesn't belong to them.
Okay.
It belongs to us. Let your voices be loud and clear. Speak up. Stand up, guys. Stand up.
Okay, Mr. Lall. So you know.
Everybody talking. The whole world is talking, Shikema.
Yes, sir.
About Guyana and its wealth. Even Fortune 500. You guys don't know what is Fortune 500. Fortune 500 is a name with 500 of the biggest companies in the world. Walmart, Amazon, Starbucks, all of them talking, and most of them want to come to Guyana. Why you think they want to come to Guyana? Shikema, why you think these people want to come to Guyana?
They want to come for wealth, sir.
Yes, because everything is free here. Our leaders are giving away everything free. Ramjatan colleague, Trotman, also lately find his tongue. The only difference between he and Ramjatan is we ain't know what kind of cat they bite his tongue. But he suddenly start talking now. These are some of the things came from his tongue when we questioned him last week. And we reported it in the Monday's newspaper. The first thing he said, it was David Granger who instructed and directed him to sign the Ornduk block deal. When questioned by the media to explain why he signed an agreement for the Ornduk block that allows the oil companies to recover a 1% royalty on the discovery, he said, the People's Progressive Party, the PPP, it was them who negotiated the deal and the coalition only signed it. You see the blame game that is going on here,
Yes.
Shikema?
Yes, sir.
Guyana, you see what's going on here? They must say, Nami is the PPP. So guys, if the PPP jump overboard over in the Atlantic Ocean from one of the oil ship, I want to know if the coalition will jump behind them too. What do you think, Shikema?
I don't know, sir.
And here the kind of excuse these people giving you.
Mm-hmm.
He said Greg Quinn lobby David Granger, and he give the green light for the contract be signed.
Mm-hmm.
Guyana, you all really hearing what's going on in this land with these leaders? Trotman specifically said was Greg Quinn and others who lobbied the president before he said okay. But it was negotiated by the PPP, and he said that is on record. So you see what's playing out here?
Mm-hmm.
You're being sold out by all of them, and everyone throwing the blame on this one and that one. I only hope Mr. Ramjatan is listening carefully. He said, what was agreed to is what was signed. You see the sellout?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the PPP jump in front of a truck, if Trotman and Granger would jump behind them. And if that is not enough, Guyana, he went on to say there was no insertion of any clause. So the 1% recoverable remains. Them give you 1 barrel, the oil company give you 1 barrel of oil with the left hand, and then take it back with the right hand. So what we get? It's like a mahagi or mango with the right hand, and he take back the mango in the left hand. You guys remember I said last week that they are here for just that, to see what they can grab from your wardrobe and your wallet for themselves and their country. That is what Greg Quinn, the British High Commissioner, did. And he had the nerve to tell Guyana, as you know, part of my job was to support UK companies to progress their investments and activities in Guyana and Suriname. You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
That is what the man said. That's his duty, that's his job. To look out for the interests of their country and their companies. Are you hear that? What our ambassadors and high commissioners doing around the world? You know what them doing? Them looking out for sell catfish. We catfish. You know, since the release of that contract in 2018, Kaieteur News has been at the forefront of exposing its damning provisions. One of which allows for UK-based oil company and its partners to enjoy a tax-free ride. The contract signed with the Granger administration in January,
Mm-hmm.
man, this thing is unbelievable. It allows the oil company and their subsidiaries, their partners, their subcontractors, non-residents, they are allowed to import all equipment, supplies, free of duty. You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Value-added taxes, VAT. Any duties and taxes, you can't impose none of them. They also have a pre-approved list. They have a pre-approved list of over 300 items, which is with the authorities. And in addition to this, the companies are free to export these items as they deem fit without any tax or fee being applied. Joining them on this tax-free ride are all the foreign companies, employees, and subcontractors. The foreigners affiliated to the oil companies and their subcontractors will also benefit all those concessions and giveaway. They all shall be able to import into Guyana free of duty and taxes, anything from top to bottom. They will also enjoy the right to export from Guyana free of all duties and taxes and at any time. Are you really understand what's going on here? It means simply that all the foreign workers that are being paid fat salaries in US dollars, they will not pay any taxes. But your brothers, your sisters that is working with them, the few of them that is working with them, have to pay all their taxes, all their NIS, and every taxes whatsoever. And guess what? The Orinduk block that Trotman signed away already hand us a bill for 300,000 US dollar in pre-contract cost. How you like that? They get the oil block free, and they turn back and hand us a bill for $300 pre-contract cost. I can't explain nothing. Nothing we can explain. Nothing. No, they're not telling you anything. Remember the pre-contract cost Kaieteur gave you? And Kanji and Exxon? Every one of them collecting your blocks, collecting your mango tree were full of mango for themselves, and them handing you a bill in the billions and in the millions of US dollars. You know, I said I love quotes. And I always remember Shakespeare, many of them. And one of them, the man said, the heights by great men were reached and kept, not by a sudden flight. But they, while their companions slept, were toiling upwards in the night. My fellow Guyanese, that saying, I had to bring that in here to tell you that while you sleeping, they are planning their next move, how to rob us all. And our leaders are partaking in what is going on in this whole scheme of things. Look, for example, what is playing out right before our eyes. And your leaders are quiet. All of them. Look, they're flaring out there, polluting the atmosphere, which they were not supposed to do. The only permission they have is when they now start up the engines to begin production. You call that the testing period. You're allowed to flare a little. They are not allowed to burn the gas during production. It's against Guyana's laws. It's against international laws. A matter of fact, international laws prohibits them from polluting the atmosphere. Guess what, Guyana? Almost 1 year, they are bringing up oil and flaring continues. Them blaming some part they're waiting on from Germany to fix the issue. Guyana, you need to know the gas in the open air is dangerous to your health. But do they care about you and me? Oh no, Shikema. No. Our lives, our lives, your lives, brothers and sisters, doesn't matter. Their lives matter, and their livelihood matters. What are we hearing from our leaders? Nothing. They are behaving as if nothing is happening. And what are we hearing from Exxon and their partners? We are still waiting on the parts while they're pumping your oil. If that part doesn't come in the next 6 years, Guyana, you and I will continue to inhale that same air that comes with all the toxic inside. Yes, Guyana, that's where we are. And what is even more ridiculous is the fact that our leaders are allowing them to spend more billions of US dollars on other projects. And Exxon said they can't find 300 million to fix the flaring. Oh my gosh, Guyana. Oh my gosh, Guyana. I hope you're following me. Oh my God, Guyana, the more I see these leaders in the PPP, the PNC, and the AFC, them resemble a brand new house. A brand new house in which them using old wood for build a yard hut next to it, and in a few mornings, wood ants will take over the entire property. The whole house. Look around and see for yourselves. It's a set of old wood ants they bring back and put in offices. What do you think will happen to those offices in Guyana in a short while, Shikema?
They will rotten. They will get rotten.
Yes. They will infect all the ministries and all the offices right across this land with wood ants. It's a set of wood ants, brothers and sisters. I guess you're not upset with me. And I guess you're still smiling with me. So continue smiling. I will allow you to call. I will allow you to text. I will allow you to send me your questions. And if I can't answer them, I'll get back the answer to you. So over to you, Guyana. The phones are open. Shikema?
Yes, the phones are open.
Let's get it on with.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. If you've just joined us, remember you are tuned in to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 in Demerara and Essequibo and 99.5 in Berbice. This is the Glenn Lall Show on Kaieteur Radio, where we tell it like it is. So before we dive into our question and answer segment, we will take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
The third world is not poor. You don't go to poor countries to make money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Only the people are poor. When people didn't have enough to eat, when people were driven to the edge of desperation, there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the bauxite. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped. They're overexploited. They're overexploited. They're overexploited.
This is a hijack. This is a hijack. Highway robbery. Highway robbery. Two-wheel blocks. Two-wheel blocks. Oil black, a heavy load. Oil black, a heavy load. Oil black broker, we back, oh Guyana. Oil black broker, we back, oh. Oil black broker, we back, oh Guyana. Oil black broker, we back, oh. Kaieteur and Ganji blocks they give away free. Worth billions of US robbing the treasury. Them kinda junky business they doing to we. Our national resources gone to friends and family. You give a Mercedes to a man with a bicycle who can't even drive and don't have a license. Then they turn around and say, Guyana, you owe we. First bill 100 million in our currency. When I ask Robert, he say, nah, not me. The people who get the block, them I never see. I say, Robert boy, what was on your mind? He said, don't ask me, it's the liars who sign. Uncle Donald, shame on you. I never thought you would have done that too. Trotman is where you're there. Trotman, what you gonna say? Arman is where you're there. Arman, what you gonna say? Apnu and EFC and the PPPC in saying nothing to we. Somebody tell me how could this be? As a Guyanese I regret, like we ain't got nothing to forget. Guyana demand your share, or your pocket would go bare. Jack Dio stop the talk, it's time to walk the walk. Oil black broker we back, oh Guyana. Oil black broker we back, oil black broker we back, oh Guyana. Oil black broker we back. It's where we leaders who represent, like all of them gone silent, silent.
Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. You're tuned into the Glenn Lall Show right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM. Remember, tonight our topic is renegotiation. Renegotiation of all the lopsided deals that have Guyana on the receiving end of nothing. Mr. Lall gave you guys a mouthful of some of the lopsided deal provisions in some of the contracts and why Guyana should renegotiate that deal. So over to you, Mr. Lall. Do continue.
All right. In a few days, it will be 1 year since we produce in oil, and we are still to get our outdated petroleum law fixed. And I choose to talk about this because I want to know where they're going to get the money from. One, who's going to loan them the money, and who they will get to fix it. Because if you remember, I spoke about the local content policy in which Guyana got a 20 million US loan from IMF. And they sent a man to fix our local content policy to suit the oil companies and them. So, my question to Guyana and to our leaders, who are we bringing in now? Which agency giving us a loan, and who they will send to fix our outdated petroleum law? And if they're going to come to fix it to suit the oil companies and them, the loaning agencies, or if the petroleum law will benefit Guyana. It's important. Yeah, and you guys need to know that, because these loan institutions, they're giving us loan and they are sending us people with a high cost. As a matter of fact, part of the loan has to go back to pay them, the people who them send, fat cash. And to fix our local content policy and all the policies and our petroleum law may very well end up the same way. our EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, all those laws needs to be revamped. We're going to take loans for that too. And I hope and I pray that we don't end up putting these laws to benefit the oil companies rather than Guyana.
All right.
You got questions?
Yes, we have a lot of questions to you tonight, Mr. Lall. Someone gave us a comment and a question. He says, Mr. Glenn, I would like to remind you, Guyana believes in you and your faithful reporters and the effort you are all putting into this issue. And we as Guyanese need to unite and fight for our national patrimony. And his question says, if ExxonMobil were to call you up and make a deal with you by paying you huge sums of money to stay silent and discontinue this program, would you be easily bought or would you turn down that deal?
That's a very smart guy. I thank him for his comments, and I didn't want to say it, but someone approached me already since last year to keep my mouth shut, and I was like livid with the individual. I asked him if that is what he came to my office for, to bribe me. I asked him, I said, how much you getting? And I had to tell him that Guyanese, there is no way, no amount of money. If Exxon give me the whole of Stabroek block, or if Guyana give me an oil block, I don't want it. I don't want it. I would love to be part of the business because I'm a businessman. And I want to work honestly and decently in my business for any oil company. But to bribe me, no. My country and its people come first. I have been around this country too long and see the level of poverty my brothers and sisters living in. And I cannot sell my soul for a few pennies or a few dollars and sell them out like that. No. I will fight until I die for every single fair share of our oil blocks to the people of this country.
Okay, that is a wonderful answer, Mr. Lall. And with our next question, why is the president and the vice president always staying silent and not doing anything about the situation? What answer would you give to that question?
That's a question I've been asking every moment of the day. I've been asking leaders, why are you so silent? Why you're not coming out? Why aren't you speaking up? But you just heard me say, the things they're speaking about are the frivolous things that cannot give you a plate of food, cannot give you milk for you to take home to your children. The dumbest of things you're hearing from our leaders. They are not saying anything about your wealth. A matter of fact, they are encouraging the foreign players to come in here and fetch away our wealth. Let me give you an example. The government is proud to say how many hotels they're building. The transformation Guyana will take. Maybe casinos and all these how Guyana will develop. But guess what, Guyana? Who you think will benefit? Let me tell you who will benefit. All these hotels that you see going up is the oil people and foreign countries that will be benefiting. And let me explain. They come here and they get your prime land that worth billions of dollars. They get it for free. They set up hotels. They get everything duty-free. All the building materials come in duty-free. Every single thing, from paint to steel to cement to everything. They build their hotels. Who is staying at their hotels? You know who will be staying at their hotels, Shikema? The oil players. And they will be charging $500, $600, $700 US per night for their hotels. And guess what? that money, where that money would be going. Not in a Glenn Lall's pocket, not in Shikema pocket, or Jason pocket, or Ruel pocket. No. It is going in their pocket to fetch away. The same way how you have GT&T fetching out your every single cent they make out of the country into their country. The same thing will happen with the hotels. They will be fetching out your wealth. And guess what, Guyana? And this is what is key for you to understand. The hotel money that the oil people spend there will be coming out from our share. So you're getting a double whammy. So you're paying the people fat money to stay in the hotel. And guess what? They're fetching out that. And you have to pay back that. And listen what will happen at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I don't know if Ramjat and them know this. And Jack Deo and Granger them understand. Or Joe Harman understand this. The hotel, when they finish with it, when the oil is finished after 40, 50 years, those hotels will go up for sale. They will go up for sale. The same prime land where you give them will go up for sale with the hotel that they build duty free for billions. And that money will also gone into their bank accounts overseas. And our leaders are proud to say, look the development. You will see the infrastructure that will be going up in Guyana. Going up to benefit who? Let Glenn Lall or Ruel or Kevin or Joshua say we want to put on a hotel somewhere. You bet you put your pot of fire, Guyanese. You have to pay every single cent for the land and every single cent to build a hotel. As a matter of fact, I got a piece of land from Go Invest to put a warehouse. And I had to pay them the fat $24 million for it. I had to pay that. What the foreigners paying? You know what they pay? Nothing. What some of your leaders doing is that they're siphoning off what they may give away. They're siphoning it off for themselves. You saw what happened just a month ago with James Bond. He got a set of land by the acres. Imagine you can't get a house lot. You apply for years and can't get a house lot at 50 feet by 100 feet. But they must siphon off by the acres. Collect millions in US. And guess what? They must transfer it. They must transfer it for $1. One Guyana dollar. What them sell and collect millions in US, they must transfer for $1. So what Guyana get out of it? You can't even get a tax out of it. This is what your leaders are doing to you. This is what they don't want you to know. And guess what? They're blaming each other. Each other. This one thieving, that one thieving. This one grabbing, that one grabbing. That is what they're doing to you, Guyana. You guys gotta wake up. We gotta wake up and demand from them proper leadership. You have to. Don't sleep. You will wake up tomorrow very sad. Yes.
Understood. Thank you for that answer, Mr. Lall. So we have another question. Someone wants to know why we are not protesting outside EPA for allowing Exxon to continue their flaring.
Protests, I want to tell that guy, that individual, protests can only happen and change can only happen from your leaders. You don't have to protest EP. You have to protest your leaders. You have to demand from your leaders. Listen, this kind of cock-and-bull story we are going on with, and we can't continue with it. It's them you got to get to change the rules and regulation of the day. So you have to take your protest there. But I am saying to that individual, let's don't talk about protests. We ain't reached protest stage. We have to first educate the nation. If you don't educate people and tell them, let them understand what is there, what is theirs, and what they're losing out on, you will never get them to go out there. You will never get them to understand why they're going out there. And I could tell you a ton of people who I've been talking with, intelligent people, smart people, they don't understand what is playing out. All you hear from them, hey, Guyana is going to transform, boy. Transform with what? From whom and who will benefit? These are the questions they don't understand. So protest, we have to protest our leaders. We have to shout at them when you see them and say, what's going on? Why you did this to us?
And this leads into the next question I was going to ask
Yes.
someone from our Facebook Live. All these negotiators looking out for their countries. Who is really looking out for Guyanese interests?
Well, that's another lovely question. And I've been saying it over and over. They are quiet. They are quiet. And let me repeat this so you understand. Oil companies, I have learned, the first thing they do when they come to your country is that they line the pockets of your politicians. They create chaos, confusion, and while we fight among ourselves, they are fetching away everything. So read between the lines, read through the lines, and that will answer why your leaders are so silent.
Okay, so we have Kevin on operating behind the scenes, and Kevin has a question for you, Mr. Lall. So I'll hand you over to
Sure.
Kevin.
Yes, Kevin.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I was invited because I understand that you felt abandoned.
He was not abandoned.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
So one thing I'd like to note from what you said that the contract is no good, and I must disagree with you because the contract is very good, but just not for the country. The last people
Perfect.
it's good for is for Guyana.
Yes.
And all right, someone commented saying that we have the fastest growing economy in the world. All right, let's say that's true for a moment, which it isn't. The rate at which our loans are coming in, the rate at which our debt is growing. By the time this so-called money comes into the country, it will have to cover these loans, it will have to cover our debt. And again, at the pace at which it's going, we'll still remain in debt.
Kevin,
Worse off than
Wow,
we
that
actually
is-
Kevin,
entered the industry.
Kevin, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, Guyana. Just now I was standing in front of the building and I heard the bridge, something hit the bridge, the harbor bridge. And I looked at the traffic. It's not moving from Kaieteur News building in Safan Street to the bridge. It's not moving. I stand there for 5 minutes and everything stands still. And the boy's talking about boss, what's going on? I said, well, you guys ain't see nothing yet. Give us 1 year more in this country. The traffic that the oil sector, the oil industry, the vehicles that will be used for the oil industry, when that take to the streets out there, you will take over 1 hour to meet from the Harbour Bridge to Georgetown. Not 3 and 4 minutes anymore. More than an hour. And guess what that will do for Guyana? It means Guyana will be growing on one side where we are getting nothing, but the locals who are heading to work or who have their business to go about will be on the low side. It means that our work will be feeling the squeeze. Meaning that if you got to get to work go there for 8 o'clock, you better get up 5 o'clock. And you will not even get there for 8 o'clock. So you see the advantage and disadvantage the soil sector has is they are the ones who will benefit because they are getting everything and we getting nothing. And when we got to work for $1, get going with our business, we are being stuck in traffic. You will see what will happen next year. And you know what? Kevin, you talk about loans? The roads, listen to this carefully, Kevin, so you understand. The roads alone that these oil vehicles, these trucks, these machinery, these haulers, these container trucks from the oil industry, the damage they would do to our roads, the little oil money that will be coming in, will not be able to even fix that road that they are damaging. So it means that Guyana will have to go and take loans again. Oh, of course, the banks already set their mouth open, everything set for you, for throw loan at you, to fix your road, what them damaging. So you understand what I'm saying here, sir?
Clearly.
The oil money will not be able to even fix the roads. We will have to go take loans to fix our roads, what them damage. That's where we are heading. And our leaders does not seem to understand this.
All right. So I have another question for you, Mr. Lall. Someone would like to know, Kaieteur News has been the only media house that has been on the forefront of this fight. Why are the other media houses not saying anything?
That's a beautiful question, and I've been tossing that in my mind for several years now. Shikema, there are several reasons why the Kaieteur News alone is fighting this fight. I have learned in this business, having been in it for 26 years. I have had dealings with reporters and journalists, people who writes and who read the news. And what I find lacking in Guyana is that most of these journalists, they don't understand business, Shikema. And because they don't understand business, it's very difficult for them to pick up on these subject matters. It happens right here in Kaieteur News. You know it. We have journalists here that doesn't understand what's playing out. You know, it's sad to say, but I will say it. Adam Harris was the editor-in-chief for this newspaper from day one. 25 years. And when we have our daily meetings about business sector and the oil sector, Adam Harris is sailing. We began writing and exposing all these deals and all these provisions that is in these contracts. And Adam would say nothing. As a matter of fact, Adam wrote a column of his own. He has his own column in the paper. And what we were writing, exposing the oil contracts, Adam went and write a column, his column, totally in the opposite to that. Saying how Guyana will get this, how Guyana will become rich, and these type of things. Whether he doesn't get it is one thing, but whether he is also following the leaders and the nation, you need to understand, Shikema, that people are following the leaders. And if the leaders aren't saying anything, it means that something is coming for them. And Adam Harris is one of them. Adam believes in his heart that how much billions don't come into Guyana. So, not much I can say about that. You know, I went out of my way. I called media houses. I called journalists. I said, listen guys, come let me sit with you. Let me explain what is happening. So you can get an idea. So you can go back and tell your editors and say, listen, you guys can look at this, look at that, and write on it. And some of them listen and just gone. And you never hear anything. Look, a prime journalist we have. A very smart kid. I always admire him. He worked for me several years. And he's no more with me. He went on. And it's good for people to move on. But when he went, when Mike Pompeo came here, and he was picked to ask a question, he asked Mike Pompeo if he is concerned about plane flying over Taiwan. Instead, he asks about our oil deals we have, this lopsided deal we have, that doesn't resemble any country on earth. Get Mike Pompeo to say something and say, listen man, Exxon is your people. Talk with them and see how we can get a better deal. He asked about Taiwan, plane flying over Taiwan. So the issue is much deep. It's deeper than what the guy is asking. It's difficult to get people to understand. You have to grow up in business to understand how you're being conned. And because I grew up there, I understand. I can stand before my editorial staff daily and explain to them. I can say, look here, look there. You know, dig into this, bring up that. As a matter of fact, that was one of the questions the regional corruption conference they had a few days ago, to which I participate in. They asked that question, and I give them the answer. And two of them applauded me and says, Glenn, it's the same thing they're faced with in the region too. If people doesn't understand deals and business, it's very difficult to write on the subject matter. You know, I call, and let me say this, I call a journalist who has a television program. The journalist had Exxon going on the program to tell Guyana what they want to tell Guyana. Basically, they were fooling Guyana with flowery words. And when it was brought to my attention, I called the individual and I put him to sit down and I said, man, what are you going on with? You have ExxonMobil people on your program talking down to Guyana, saying what Guyana getting, and nothing is factual. But he doesn't know. He sat there and allowed them to talk whatever they want to talk. And when I asked him, I said, wait, don't you care about Guyana and its people and as to what we are getting from ExxonMobil? And allowing them to come and tell lies on national television? You know what he said to me, Shikema?
What did he say,
He
sir?
said, Glenn, Lall, let me tell you something. I have a 1-hour program. And every week I got to find money to pay for that program. And who pays the price? I'm happy to accommodate them. I was like, oh my God, like I nearly wanted to drop out the flooring to which I was standing on.
Mm-hmm.
Listening a colleague of mine, a journalist, telling me that he only concerned about who's going to pay for his program. He doesn't concern the damage these people doing to Guyana. So there we go, guys. That's all I can say about that question.
All right, so we're winding down to the final minutes of our program, and I'd like to end with one comment from our own Kaiteure's very own Voiden, and he says that the wealth Guyana has, other countries should be borrowing money from us. What would you say to that, Mr. Lall?
Guyana in another year, we should have already been lending money.
Mm-hmm.
We should have been the IMF or the IDB. That guy is very smart. That's the kind of wealth we have. We should have been the one lending rather than borrowing. And these bright guys we have for leaders, they say Jagdev is the smartest man or not. Can't see this, can't understand this, doesn't know that. We should have been lending money. Instead, we are running up, stretch we hand for beg for help me with little COVID. Fight COVID. Then we are going to beg for help me for fix we law. We are going to beg for help me to fix the policy, to put a plan in place. Come on, guys. Come on, Guyana. It is sickening. It is very sickening what's taking place.
All right, and there you have it. That comes to the end of our program this evening, and I do hope that you guys enjoyed the fruitful discussion we had about renegotiating the lopsided oil deals that Guyana has been stuck with. So you can join us on Friday for another edition of the Glenn Lall Show, where we tell it like it is. Join us same time, same place, with the same faces, right here on Kaieteur Radio. Mm-hmm. Do have a very good evening.
Good night, Guyana.
This is a hijack. This is a hijack. Highway robbery. Highway robbery. Two-wheel blocks. Two-wheel blocks. Oil black, oil black, oil black, a heavy load. Oil black, oil black, oil black, a heavy load. Oil black broker, we back, oh Guyana. Oil black broker, we back, oh. Oil black broker, we back, oh Guyana. Oil black broker, we back, oh. Kaieteur and Kanji blocks, they give away free. Oil black broker, we back, oh. Worth billions of US robbing the treasury. Oil black broker, we back, oh. Them kinda junky business they doing to we. Oil black broker, we back, oh. Our national resources gone to friends and family. Oil black broker, we